Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. As we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. I'm riding off of the coattails, I suppose, of yesterday's very exciting news and the announcements of the updates which are coming. I guess we should start thinking about exactly what we're going to do in these upcoming days to prepare for 5th of November when it inevitably comes. The problem being that we don't really know the full scope of what's coming until the 5th of November itself, so it's a little bit difficult to judge. So today I think we're just going to walk around. We're going to be doing our missions, but instead of actually talking about random things, I'm actually going to be thinking out loud about what I want to do in my island to change it up. So anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 5:06 PM on Saturday, October 16, 2021. The first thing I was really thinking about was the bottom left side of the island, aka Fauna's eventual half of the island, but currently it belongs to Tank. I want to change that slightly because right now it's meant to represent like life and blossoming, and I came at it from a heaven perspective or something like that. Except for there's not enough items really to make a heaven sort of thing work, and I'd have to use a lot of I think I'd have to use a lot of designs, which I'm not particularly fond of. So one thing I think which should be changing is probably this entire area here. I think should, instead of being like the pearly gates of cloudy heaven or something like that, it should probably be changing to like a garden of Eden, that sort of thing, like a secret garden full of blooming life and that sort of thing. And the reason I think that is because, as we know, the upcoming update, there's going to be a farming update basically where you can grow crops and food and all that good stuff. But the problem with that for me is the area which I have as like the harvest region, the harvest area, is sort of overlapping also with the business side, and thus there's not enough room. We've currently got like the fruit orchard, which is also a mushroom forest, and then the pumpkin patch, and then the rock area around Raymond and Vivian's house, which is obviously, that can't really work if there's now going to be farming as well. There's now not enough space in there. So if we move out farming and we move the orchard thing over here to this left side of the island, we can now basically turn that right side of the island into the mushroom place and the industrial area. So Vivian's half will be the autumn, the mushroom forest, and then the top half of Raymond will be the industrial area. We'll have a shop and all the other sort of things like that. As I say, today we're not going to be doing any of that. We're just going to be thinking out loud as we walk around the island, planning things out, and then still farming Nookmar missions, because we are going to need a lot of Nookmar points for the upcoming update. So that's what we will be doing. And I think one major thing is I actually want to turn my house into what looks like a lead up to like a temple of gods. Not necessarily a temple of the gods per se, but some sort of very grandiose object which you see on like the horizon. And I think what will probably happen is we'll be removing these ramps up for like the vine ladders or whatever. So you're like climbing up this really difficult and perilous mountain, and then you're reaching like the temple of, I guess I'm calling it like the temple of the gods, quote up there. So that may end up changing that sort of shape of a mountain to make it a bit more irregular, a bit more of a natural formation. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to decorate the inside, because before I thought I would have like the ground floors as 4 seasons, and I'd rotate them each season. Obviously that's a stupid idea because I'm never going to do that, but in theory it sounds quite nice. But I think the top region should still be like a cloudy haven or whatever, representing daytime, and the bottom region should be sort of like a night sky, Celeste inspired area to represent nighttime. I'm not sure what to do the 3 outer sides for, to be perfectly honest. I guess we could just keep it as like a very sort of heavenly like temple thing in the middle, where you can have like marble columns and statues and like basically a giant like ancient Greek inspired pool or something of that sort. Was that ancient Roman? I don't really know. My history's all a bit muddled. But the thing is, I really don't know what we're going to do the outer sort of regions, the outer rooms for. We can't divide them up into the 4 quadrants of our island, because, you know, there's 4 of them. I don't want to give them one of them extra precedent than the other. So I guess what we could do is we could try and cram all 4 of them into one room. Like a 4 seasons room. I don't know why I'm going... Oh, we need to cut down wood. That's why I'm over here. A 4 seasons room. But then what does that leave a left and right room to be? I don't know, like a room of life and death. Seems a bit like on the nose, and we're kind of like repeating the same thematics we got outside again inside. So really, perhaps it should be like a travel place to like stay, like if you're a visitor from a far off land going into this world, like fancy otherworldly place, perhaps you need like an abode or something like that, you know. Maybe we can have like I don't know. It's a bit hard to think about. I was trying to think about it last night to think about what I could come up with, and I couldn't really come up with much. I'm sure there's plenty of good ideas out there, so I just need to do a bit more browsing and I need to do a bit more sort of reevaluating what things could be like. But you know, having like a sort of like a temple in the front gate, a heavenly abode above it, and a sort of like a nighttime abode beneath it, and then at the back room perhaps we could have like a shrine of sorts, you know, like a hall of gods, you might say, but the gods are the villagers of our island. And then left and right, I suppose, could be like one of them could be like a small inn or something, like a traveller's like rest point, where they walk across there and then they're like, oh, you know, this is where I want to like stay the night or something for my pilgrimage up to this place. But what does that leave a right area to be? I don't know, some sort of like rest and relaxation, meditation spot perhaps? Like perhaps we could have a waterfall coming down and sort of like a meditation room. Maybe a bit of a spa, like an onsen sort of thing. I mean, we kind of already got an onsen over here anyway, so it makes it quite difficult. I'm not sure. What we should definitely do, I'm thinking about this fish and bug areas, we should replace some of these fish and bugs with perhaps more like plant life and things like that. Because right now I like the layout, it's just a bit too many fish and bugs right now, which makes it a little bit too strange. And perhaps we should do away with necessarily having forced flower thematic colour matching to each sort of area, instead of having just the broad range of colours. So perhaps we should remove these blue ones and put them all as white, and then the greens, blues and yellows can all go in the spring side at the top left. Reds, orange and yellows can all go into the autumn area in the bottom right, and then orange, yellows and pinks or whatever can go to the bottom left. Like, I guess pink should be in the top left now I think about it, but whatever, something like that, you know, instead of, because blue and white, while it's nice to keep a consistent theming throughout the entire thing, isn't it a bit too restrictive? We should have white as a predominant shade, I suppose, in this area, but then allow other colours and shades to partake in as well, to also serve a wintry theme. So this part here, I think we should get rid of, but I don't know what to replace it with, because if we replace this sort of harvest farming area with, we want to make it a bit more industrial, this sort of side of things, what could we replace it with? Because we've seen a lot of industrial things coming, I suppose. Maybe we can make it like a mini high street sort of thing. Perhaps move Able Sisters down, and we'll have like a sort of like lampposts and that sort of thing, a road running through the middle. I think that could be interesting. I am well aware I'm basically trying to like smash together a load of different aesthetics all into one island, which is going to be particularly difficult, one might say, but sort of thing where, you know, I'm up to the challenge. In the end, and plus we've got a long time to be, this is going to be the last 3 major update for ages, so we don't need to rush things out, to be perfectly honest. We can slowly increment and add things to our island. But that also leaves the question, what should these like random rock areas be like along the beach? I guess we should just fit the thematic of what's going on. So we've got one in the top right, one in the top left, and one in the very left, and one at the very right. So I guess the top left one could be, that should be some sort of secret summer-based abode. No, spring-based abode, right? Whereas top right one should be some sort of winter-based abode. Maybe we can set up like seasonal shrines, every sort of rocky outposts along the beach. But I think annoyingly, the top right one, hold on, let's just look at the map quickly. See if we can judge it. Let's say this top right one's annoyingly also in the summer section. Like we're too rocky but outposts in the summer section, which might be a bit inconvenient. I don't know. But yeah, I do like the idea of making this sort of right area a bit more industrial, like making it a high street. Having it sort of like a weird juxtaposition, I suppose, between the mushroom forest and the busy industrial high street we've got going on. But it's more like, I don't know, actually. Maybe that's not a good juxtaposition. Maybe that's too strange. But we've got to obviously put the mushrooms in the autumn section of the island. It doesn't make sense anywhere else, to be honest. But I think we can make it a bit of a smaller. And I guess we have to keep the rocks here now I think about it. Am I going to move the rocks again? No, I think what makes more sense is we move nooks. No, maybe we make this rock thing like a rock park. Like industrial rock path, and have like the high street going across through here. Connecting nooks, if we put nooks over on this side. Or we could put nooks over on this side in front of this cliff, and then Abel sisters like tucked away just behind there. And then we'll have this rocky path, and then this part can be like a, I don't know what it can be. We can perhaps use some of the more autumny designs, or make it like a small little kids play park and that sort of thing, with an autumn path walking up here to the well. I'm not sure, because we've annoyingly put this rock farm here, but I don't really want to have to do the rock redistribution again. I mean, we can, by all means. It's not like we're going to be short of time or anything about the amount of days we're going to be playing Animal Crossing for. But the question is, where would we even move it? I don't know. But another thing I've also been thinking about is I should really play a lot more with the elevation and that sort of thing in the lower parts of the island. Like, I play around with it a little bit in the spring and the winter sections, but not really in the summer or autumn sections. Like, wouldn't it be cool if this was like, it starts off like as a mushroom valley over here, like these are up on cliffs or something behind the things, and you can see the mushrooms as you walk through here, as you're like walking through the gorge, and it slowly comes down and it flattens out as we get to like the industrial area where, you know, in theory, in the lore behind Fawnhollow, I suppose the villagers like cut down, flatten out the area to make way for civilization and modernization. I don't know. And the summer one is also interesting because we have like a beech forest in the middle. We're relying too much on different types of forest in each type of area, which I think sort of limits what we can really do if we force it out like that. We're running out of space, so let's go put some stuff away. This graveyard area I think is fine for now. I think it's a bit big. If anything, maybe we should put the rock farm around in this area. That's an intriguing idea. Just have like scattered rocks around here to make it feel very craggly. And then we can clear out that rock farm area and put like an industrial forest. Not industrial forest, an industrial like high street along there, where every major thing is. That's an interesting idea. I still want to make the summer area into sort of a campsite for a refuge, so maybe we don't have these inner areas decorated as a sort of inn. I really don't know what to do. It's difficult to really come up with something just like that, I suppose, off the top of your head. We can sell some of these things, right? Why do we have so many things in our inventory anyway, which we don't need? This stuff we can all sell. Is there anything I want to take off? Take off this, I suppose. I want to go get another fossil and get evaluated. Really, this requires me to sort of outside of my recording time to actually plan what I'm doing. I'm just sort of stubbornly refusing to, because that takes time and effort. So then we can sort of make this area here sort of like a jungle, lead up into this forest, maybe put some more small mountains and hills to make it feel like a very sort of difficult area to get to over here. I'm not super sold on that idea yet. I do kind of like this grave area, but again, maybe we should play around with like different heights and elevations around this area a bit more to make it feel a bit more dangerous, a bit more like suffocating, because right now it's all flat ground, which is nice, but it means that there's no interesting elevation differences going on, unless it all feels very samey. You know, you just like look over horizons and it's all flat. Well, I think the spring area and the winter area are a bit more interesting, because the winter area's got that big focal point of a mountain by Amelia's house, while the spring area has some interesting elevations and rivers running through, making things feel a bit more dynamic. And don't you think? I know I'm just sort of talking out loud here to myself. It's very much an episode for myself, if anything, to really speak out loud. But yeah, I like the idea of condensing all the heavenly like items over just to this island, and then from here on out it's like walking into a Garden of Eden. A flourishing sort of bounty of representation of life on the island. And then perhaps we should restrict the graveyard sort of thematic only to Phoebe's island. And then walking out of it can be like I don't know, what am I customizing a shovel? What do we need to customize? We haven't customized this in a while. But then what? Where do we go from there? Because if we restrict, I suppose we restrict the graveyard elements just to Phoebe's island and the skeleton and the occultish elements, and then the Halloween elements can be the whole of the right side to just represent a spooky forest. A spooky forest walk, and then maybe if Katrina gets some islands, or if we get some more mystical things, we can put things down, you know, like a fortune teller's orb or that sort of thing. Maybe we could put like a witch's hut like a theoretical witch's hut, like a little campfire and a cauldron, because like toil. Wait, bubble, toil and trouble. That's what I was meant to say. I was like, toil and toil doesn't make sense. Wait, is it something bubble, toil and trouble? I don't know. And also maybe we reduce the area that's leading up to the museum with fish and bugs. Like condense it a bit more. Only choose the fish and bugs we really need, and then we could add some more decorations. Because right now the spring section of the island is very sort of water based, and we've got the Flower Rainbow Road, which is of course nice, but maybe that should be only condensed within the spring side of the island. I don't know. Having it stretch out into the winter side doesn't seem to make more sense. Unless, you know, lore-wise, it could be like Lily, who's meant to be the deity of springtime, I suppose, gives the gifts to the winter side with the connection of a Rainbow Road. Perhaps we can have something which connects all the different seasons together like that. Or we can borrow elements from one to the other to make it feel like they're sort of gifts to each other. I don't know. It's all very difficult. It's all buzzing with ideas in my mind. Again, my only problem, I don't know why I placed that. It's very difficult to or I should say it's very tedious executing and putting everything down in this game as you want it. Which I hope they bring that sort of happy home paradise customization thing, which you can use inside and outside. I hope they bring it over to the main game as well, if you have the DLC. Because otherwise, like, the fact you can like really freely put down trees and fences and paths seems so convenient. Imagine if you could bring up and down cliff sizes as well. That's what I really want. Just to make it easier to customize things and try out things I want and be like, ooh, do I like this? Yes, no? Otherwise, I can give it a pass and try put it somewhere else. I don't know. It's tough to say, to be perfectly honest. Which is why we're talking out loud about it. Like, what about fossils? Do we want to put fossils anywhere? Do we want to make like an archaeological site? Especially in the Earth section with the autumn stuff? I don't know. But I think what we can certainly say is, even though we haven't really finished decorating the entire island, we can certainly redesign things. And I think the thing we should definitely start on is the bottom left with the Garden of Eden things. When that day comes, so we can start planting some farming items, and we can put like bountiful food, and so like Valhalla, you know, put like feasts down everywhere where travelers can come and just like take a bite of like heavenly tasting food, etc, etc, etc. I think that'd be cool. But then then this part will become much more industrial, which I think fits Raymond quite a bit more, to be honest. But I don't want to make it too industrial, because it's nature, I suppose, is a big not influence, but aesthetic going on this island. Making it too industrial will seem a little bit strange, I'd have thought. But I do like the spring side of the island. Of course, we're going to replace that fountain with a park fountain, and then we'll put the fountain probably in the Garden of Eden somewhere. So it's just a sort of way to fill up some of the empty space in the Garden of Eden area. Well, hopefully we can put some things down which fill up the space a little bit more, rather than being forced to basically just, you know, not have enough things to put down. I'm not sure if anything of what I just said made any sense, but did we give Phoebe and Tank items? I don't think we've given Phoebe nor Tank gifts yet, which we'll do. So yeah, I'm sort of just like spitting out ideas, but nothing's going to be solid until we actually get the update itself and played around with it for a little while, so we can actually see the full scope of everything that's going on, and seeing what like new furniture items they might have added to really sort of flesh everything out, new like events perhaps, new ways of customizing and new ways of doing things like that. Maybe I should make like a mood board of like other designs I like that people have made, of which I can sort of recreate. I've seen some really nice mushroom forests. That seems like quite a common thing, but I tried looking earlier for like a Garden of Eden style thing, but not many people have made those sort of style, like those bountiful paradise sort of areas, at least that I can see. And I feel like I remember searching for like heaven like designs before, but people have not made those as well, or at least I couldn't find any from a quick Google search, which could be better, I suppose. I do like the sort of festival, like party area of the island over here. Like, this is meant to be the recreational side of the island. This is where you have fun. The autumn area is where you like toil. It's where you work, you know. Over here is where you, I suppose, not relax but reflect. It's quite isolated. It's just you and nature. And then the winter side is, I don't know what the winter side's meant to be. Isolation. You pay tribute, or you celebrate, perhaps, because it's like Christmas themed. And then have themes of togetherness and air. Like, yeah, Apollo's part of the island also could be perhaps better decorated. A lot of it right now is cannibalized by Amelia spreading, because Amelia is meant to be like the winter spirit or whatever. Like, the entire top right side of the island is winter themed. Tank, you are always here in this specific section of the museum. Do you not find that weird? So I really feel like we give Apollo's living area a bit more like personality that fits him. Like, he I guess could be like a transport sort of side of the island, right? Give him an aviator hat, an aviator jacket. Or if we put like a runway near the back. I don't know. That doesn't really seem fitting. We just need to find something which we can really attach to Apollo and help bring things to life. Because right now he's kind of sort of overlapping with the life side of the island. We've got all these fish and bugs around him, which is a bit strange. We've got a single windmill, or wind turbine, I suppose, which is not particularly amazingly inspired, I suppose. It's kind of basic. Oh, we could put this red dragonfly model down. So I think if we move Able Sisters down to now where the pumpkin patch is, we're now given a lot more space where we can put things for Apollo, and maybe we can think about making this sort of like a train. No, I don't know. A train area doesn't really make much sense. I just like your idea of putting him like in pilot style clothing and then putting like a giant plane here or something. But there's no like giant plane furniture item as far as I know. So if we got the commercial area down here, we've got the recreational area in bottom left, we've got the self-reflection area in top left. What does that leave for the top right area? What sort of niche have we not quite put into? Like creativity? Artistic expression? Which is maybe why the Able Sisters is also close to both areas. It's a mix of sort of a commercialism and creative side. And that's why the museum's here. And perhaps what we should do is, instead of putting the museum like smack dab in the middle over here, we put it where Apollo's house is, we move Apollo's house down here, so then it's all a very sort of creative, free-flowing area. And that's what Apollo could be, like a spirit of creativity and inspiration. A bit strange for a grumpy villager, I suppose, but break the molds, I say. So then what do we do with rocks? I like the idea, I suppose, of moving them to this sort of graveyard area, not on Phoebe's Island necessarily, but like perhaps put them up in the mix over here. I think we take all of this down, we figure out exactly how the sort of cliffing designs we want. I think I need to do some sketches, basically, of what sort of aesthetic and idea I'm going for. That's what will really sort of solidify ideas in my mind. And as I say, it just requires a lot more planning that I've currently done to really sort of bring what I want to life. And then I'm not sure. And another thing which has been a bit worrying, not worrying I suppose, but might have concern to my design of the island, is the fact that Cappen's dock is the bottom right of the island. It's in the smack bang in the middle of a, not middle I suppose, but in part of the mushroom forest, which is a little bit inconvenient because it doesn't really fit it aesthetically. If I could flip the map and put it in the top left, the bottom left, that'd be so much better. But alas, we cannot move the pier nor the airport as of for now. And also this town hall area, I feel like it should be a bit more interesting. Right now it's a bit boring, isn't it? I've seen some people put some really nice sort of like cliffs around here, so you're like walking through a waterfall, but I really want to get that duality going on. So maybe if I put like cliffs down here, we have like a flourishing bounty of like waterfalls and really like amazingly looking things on this side, and here we got much more like creepy, withered, old area on the right. We can funnel people into the town hall in a very unique way. I don't know. I'm not as sold on that, because I like the idea of it for like sort of valley waterfall walking thing, but I don't want to just put cliffs anywhere sort of willy-nilly, you know. I also want to make it feasible and easy to navigate around the island. It's a sort of double-edged sword. There's a lot of really nice looking islands are also really annoying to walk around and get to places. I think as a good thing to do is actually moving the museum away from the air area. But yeah, when the new update comes in, that's what we're going to do. We're going to be doing a big sort of update to our island all over again. You know, we've had multiple stages of our island. The first stage being when we just started. The second stage when we actually made everyone like new houses, and we're in the third stage, the third generation, I suppose, right now. We're starting to get some thematics down, but it didn't quite reach fruition. Mainly because I got bored and also lacked items. And the fourth stage is going to be the island's final form, where it's fully evolved, where things are fully realised. And that's probably going to take, I'm going to say it's going to take us like a year to complete. if I only do things a half an hour each day. I don't know, but maybe I'll be having so much fun that I'll start doing things off camera again. It's been a long time since I've done something like that, hasn't it? It's been a very long time since I've done a multi-part episode on one day. But I assume we might have to do a multi-part episode on the 5th of November, just to sort of cover all the new things which are coming. Like, we got Roost, we got all the Happy Home Paradise things. Do I get a second Let's Play running concurrently with Happy Home Paradise at the same time? I don't know. That's what makes it so difficult. Who knows? Or perhaps I could just replace one of the current Let's Plays we got with Happy Home Paradise and have it like separate from the Animal Crossing thing. That's an interesting idea. I've not considered that. I don't know if that's a way forward, because I don't know what about to replace, to be honest. Yeah, it's not like the Animal Crossing series is particularly popular, and I do want to play games Let's Play wise that people actually watch in the end. There's always the difficulty of that sort of thing. No, I think we'll still have them tied together, but if I do things off camera. I guess the first few times I play the game, I won't do things off camera, but then, you know, Happy Home Paradise will always be on camera. That makes sense, because that's new stuff, and then, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll just make longer episodes for like the month or so after it's been released. It's difficult, you know, trying to formulate what to do. You know, we're living in, I suppose, the after cast image, and whatnot, doesn't make any sense, of what we got going on. What am I trying to say? Well, like, you know, after, you know, the nice sort of glow and happy feelings that we got from seeing the Animal Crossing update, we got to think how we're going to implement them together into our series. It almost might make most sense to have a separate series going on for Happy Home Paradise, because it is basically two sort of games ongoing. I don't know if I've got the time for that sort of thing. And having such like less frequent Happy Home Paradise updates doesn't really make much sense. And they are the same game in the end, over here, interconnected. I don't know. It's all very difficult. But if you've got your own ideas, then do free to suggest them to me. Tell me perhaps what your plans are. What I should do. What you'd like to see, what you wouldn't. Who knows? I don't know. You know, who knows? I don't. But I suppose the good thing to get from all of this is the fact that I'm actually trying to think through different ideas again. I'm actually feeling inspired to try and do things. To actually try new things rather than just being like, oh, you know, it's another day in the Nook Mile, mission farming mines. So yeah, I do want to hold out on the majority of the customization until we actually get to the new update. And that sort of thing, because I'm sure we'll have plenty to be doing then. But I suppose we can start getting some sort of stuff ready. But I think, for now, you know, enjoy it. These last sort of like, last 20 days of me just talking random nonsense each and every day, rather than particularly, structuring what I'm doing around what I'm doing in Animal Crossing. I suppose it's a good idea to also stock off some bells as well, to make sure we got stuff. But yeah, I mean, when I get time, I'm going to have a think about it and probably sketch out some ideas of what I'd like to see on the island. I think that makes most sense. But for now, we'll round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join the Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.